Excel works as a calculator to the mathematical theory of ignorance. A warm and graceful afternoon to Honorable Guest Speaker Dr. Ashok Kumar, respected Principal Professor Sanjeev Kumar Tiwari, professors and all my dear friends. I, Ujala Jaiswal, along with my co-host Shweta, welcomes you all to this intellectual interaction on statistical analysis using MS Excel. Now, I would like to invite Dr. Renu Saini for the welcome note.
Thank you, Jala. It is rightly said the capacity to learn is a gift, the ability to learn is a skill, the willingness to learn is a choice. A very good afternoon to one and all present here. I, Dr. Renu Saini, on behalf of the Department of Mathematics, Maharaja Agrawal College, take this opportunity to welcome distinguished Principal Sir, Professor Sanjeev Kumar Tiwari, respected TIC Ma'am, Dr. Vanita Jain, respected faculty members and dear students in today's webinar. I would also like to extend a warm welcome to the guest speaker for the day, respected Dr. Ashok Kumar. Thank you, sir, for accepting our invitation in such a short time. Before proceeding further, I would like to invite Principal Sir to grace occasion with his golden words.
Thank you, Renu. My dear friends, and the chief guest and speaker of today's webinar, Dr. Ashok Kumar. It's really a great pleasure to welcome a student of Delhi University again to Delhi University to deliver the lecture. Because when I was going through his entire CV, which was shared by one of my friends, I came to know that he was student of Delhi University itself, and he completed his master's and his PhD from Delhi University, taught here in Delhi University in Department of Statistics for several years, and then he joined the Lucknow University. The topic of today, it's really very interesting, and today we cannot think of our life without the statistics. We are in the field of an age of data science, and the data science is one of the most sought after opportunities, career opportunities for the students. When we'll go and venture in the data science, we'll find that without a statistical analysis, you cannot think about the data and analyzing the data. Even the different policies of the government which are decided, and the programs of the government which are taken care by the government, it's also based on the statistical analysis of the data which are collected from the fields. I think we are living in the computer age, and in that computer age, we cannot think about the MS Office, MS Excel, etc. That means correlating these two things. One is the statistics, number two, collecting the data, and then analyzing that data through the MS Excel and the MS Office, and trying to get and find out somebody to share it. It's very important. Few days back, one of my seniors and his professor and head of the department in one of the important department of the university, he was after me that find somebody who could analyze some of the data at the at a very short period, because he has to give a paper somewhere and that paper is very important. I was trying to search it out, and I tried to call one of my colleagues, Dr. Jiran, who is here in this meeting also, that kindly provide somebody who can charge some money and who can do the data analysis. But until date, we could not find anybody. And that is why I came to know about the importance of the data. Not only that, the government policies and the government programs which are decided and which has been changing. Because today also we can see that the data science is working a lot when we are trying to tackle the COVID pandemic. There also, we do analyze that how many people they have been vaccinated, how many people they are supposed to be vaccinated, how much date it will take, how much time it will take, and how much manpower it will require. There also, we can go about the statistical analysis, use of the MS Excel, and the data science. I think that the coming 1 hour and after that the interaction, it will be the very interesting, and not only interesting, it will be eye-opening for our students in this new field. And I think that Dr. Ashok Kumar is going to do justice with this particular topic because he is expert in the statistics, and Maharaja Agastyan College and its students, they would be benefited out of that. Thank you for inviting me, and thank you, and again welcome Dr. Ashok Kumar ji in this webinar. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir, for your inspiration words. Webinars are organized and conducted for the students to gain insight and information that would remain effective in their life and work. I ensure this webinar will be fruitful for everyone present here. Thank you, everyone. Over to you, Jala.
Thank you, ma'am. Now, I request everyone to kindly turn on their cameras for the group photograph. Kindly turn on their cameras, everyone. I hope the technical team has taken the photograph. Thank you, technical team. As we heard, a good listener truly wants to know the speaker. So, it's the time you all are waiting for. Now, I would like to call upon my co-host Shweta to kindly proceed the webinar.
Thank you, Ujala. Good afternoon, everyone. Myself, Shweta. Now, I would like to introduce everyone to our today's guest, Dr. Ashok Kumar. Sir is presently working as an assistant professor in Department of Statistics, University of Lucknow. He has done his Masters of Philosophy degree in Department of Statistics from University of Delhi in 2014. He has also done his PhD from Department of Statistics in 2021. He has 9 years of teaching experience. Dr. Kumar has qualified CSIR NET in Mathematical Sciences jointly conducted by CSIR UGC in 2011 and also awarded UGC Non-NET Fellowship during 2011 to 2014. He is specialized in design of experiments, linear models, optimization, applied statistics, statistical inference in data analysis. Dr. Kumar has published more than 20 research papers in reputed journals. He has also presented his work on national and international conferences. We welcome you, sir. I request you to enlighten us with your success stories. Over to you, sir.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon to all of you. Thank you so much, Professor Sanjeev Tiwari ji, for inviting me. And I feel very proud when I got to know from the Dr. Vedpal ji to deliver a talk in the Maharaja Agrawal College, because I associated with the Delhi University more than 5 years. And I think so, for anyone, it is a very, very respectful, or it is a very proud moment if he or she invited as a guest or as a speaker to deliver a talk in the alma mater. So I also feel very proud to invited as a speaker in the Maharaja Agrawal College. For this, I would like to thanks to the Professor A.R. Prasannan, Dr. Jiren Methi ji, Dr. Vanita Zen, the head department of mathematics, Dr. Vedpal, Dr. Renu Saini, and the two young people, I will say, Dr. Sweta and Dr. Uzala, who are coordinating this webinar. So with this, I am going to start my today's lecture. The topic of lecture is statistical data analysis using MS Excel. So the data, as the Professor Tiwari was saying, data is everywhere. So in this world, there is no place where we do not have the data. So to understand the characteristics of data, to deal with the problems, real life problems, we can handle every situations if we know something about the data, or if we can handle the data, then we can handle every situation. So to understand the data, first we need to, what is data? If you have the data, then you can apply the statistics. So statistics is the art and science of designing studies and analyzing the data that those studies produce. So you have the something, you are, as Professor Tiwari was saying, in the current scenario, we want to know how many people have taken the, vaccine, how many people vaccinated, or how many are remaining. So if we have this kind of study, so for this we should have some data. On the basis of that data, statistics will help you to understand the situation in better way, or you can plan accordingly to give the best medicine or best way for the society. Translating data into knowledge and understanding of the world around us. So with the help of data, we can understand the world around us. So statistics is the science which deals with the collecting, classifying, presenting, analyzing, and interpreting data that collected to throw light of any sphere of inquiry. So for any purpose, so first we should have one objective, one motivation. Regarding that, we collect the data. That data we will classify, present, analyze, and then we will interpret the results. As there is a very well-known statistician, H.G. Wells, statistical thinking will one day be necessary for efficient citizenship as the ability to read and write. So without knowing the statistic, we can say that we are illiterate. So for any citizenship. So just only know some letters or some numbers, we are kind of illiterate. If we do not have the statistical thinking. So this is the lecture is basic lectures, but I will try to give you the basic concept of statistics along with the basic characteristics of the data, how many types of data we have, or what kind of statistic you can use for which kind of data. So after the lecture, I hope you will be able to understand something about the statistics as well as about the data characteristics. As Professor Tiwari was saying, I was searching some people to analyze the data. So my focus in this lecture, because as Dr. Vedpal told me that most of the students are from the BSc mathematical science background. So I will try to explain each and everything in a very basic way. Because if you know the basics of the data, basic characteristics of the data or basic nature of the data, then you can apply any statistics. Because we have so many softwares, SPSS, Excel, all these are, there are Python, there are so many softwares that will help you to handling the data. That means in the calculation portion can be done by these softwares. But which particular data will we which particular statistics used for which particular data we have to tell to the computer. After that, computer will help you. But for that things, if you have no idea about the data characteristics or statistical that can be used for this particular data characteristic, then you may get the worst result. So I will try to explain the things in a very easy way. And if anytime you have any query, then you can directly ask me, or after the lecture, you can ask me. Because I will not say it is a one-way delivery, or I will tell you so many things during this lecture, but it is your responsibility to ask me anytime. So you can see the applications, food, weather forecasting, emergency preparedness. जैसे भी कोविड की बात हुई, तो during that, if you don't know how many people are supposed to be affected by the disease, how many beds we have, how many hospitals we have, how much quantity of oxygen is required for as per the data or as per the health conditions of the, or as per the disease rate. So all these things can be done with the help of statistics. Transportation system, pricing of the insurance policies, examining the economic health, prosecuting criminals, ensuring the safety of medicine, and some government policies also. So I think these are the some fields where you can use the statistics. There are many more fields or many more areas where you can use statistics. And if you apply the statistic in proper way or in the efficient way, then definitely you will get the best result. So what is data? So many things, so many times you will listen data. What is actually meaning of data? Data is nothing. Data is that things unknown assumed as the facts, making the basis of the reasoning or calculation. It may be anything actually. What is happening? I am talking to you. It is also generating some data at any place. How many people are connected with this? How much time I speak? How much time other person is speaking? So that is, all these things are data. How much data we are consuming, okay, no? Or how much speed that we are using here, that we are getting here. So all these things are the data. But it depends on your objective. For particular objective, this is my data, this is my objective. Regarding this that data will be helpful for me. So right now I am telling you about the data. So that means if you have, suppose we want to know how much speed we are getting during this session. So our interest is only in checking the speed of the data, or how much data we will consume after this lecture. So our objective is only in this. So I will see how much at a particular point the speed is, how much at a particular time is, how much in what way speed is varying, or how many people are connected, whether you are your video is on, my video is on, camera is on or not. If camera is on, then definitely your data data will be more data will be consumed. So these things, that means data is making the basis of the reasoning or calculation. So it depends on us what type of data we want actually. The collection of data that are relevant to the problem being studied is commonly the most difficult, expensive and time consuming part of the entire research project. So obviously the data collection procedure is a big procedure, and it is obviously difficult, expensive and time consuming. But statistical data are usually obtained by counting or measuring the items. So in general, we have the two types of data: primary data and secondary data. Primary data that we collected for a specific analysis that we want to do. That suppose I want to know how many students are coming, or what is the IQ level of the students in Maharaja Aghanshankar College. That this is my objective. On the basis of that, I want to collect the data. That is primary data. Secondary data, the data have already been collected by another organization, another person, another government society, another government agency, and which is available, freely available, or you can arrange that data for the our statistical analysis purpose. That is secondary data. Data is collected by the another person and we are using for our objective. This is your secondary data. In data, we have the two terms. One is variable and one is constant. So if you have the constant, then you have no need to do anything. Then you are not able, you cannot do anything with that. Fixed, constant means fixed. If everything is fixed, like in the mathematics, there are so many equations which are fixed. In physics, the equation of energy, equation of motion, all these things are fixed. So we cannot do anything. If we suppose your equation is force is equal to mass into F equal to ma. So all these things are fixed. We cannot do anything. But in statistics, if the things are known, not known primarily, but we can use the current data, we can imply some statistics, and we can make the future arrangement on the basis of that interpretation. So these things are variables which vary according to the time or according to situation. This is variable. So variable contain the information about the particular characteristics of all individual in our data set. So variable names, suppose I want to collect the data on the students of the Maharaja Aghasan College. So the variables may be the name of the student, the gender of the student, the IQ level of the student, the class of the student. All these things are the variables. And constant is the fixed numerical value which cannot be changed anytime. So if you have the variable, so if you have the data, you want to collect the data, then you have to measure the data. So we have 4 types of measurement scale of data. To collect any data, we have the 4 measurement scale. Without measuring the data, without measuring the scale, we cannot collect the without measurement, we cannot collect the any data. For this, we have the 4 categories. The one is nominal, ordinal, interval, and ratio. What does it mean, nominal? Nominal is categorical variables do not have the natural ordering among the categories, like gender, caste, job, class. So we have not making any order about the on the basis of their variable name. So gender is the variable name, caste is the variable name. Not ordering means we are not saying that either the male is more efficient or female is more efficient, or the girls are more efficient or boys are more efficient. Just we are collecting the information on the basis of gender, where no one is preferring on the another one. Like these 3: apple, orange, tomato. So no, there is these 1, 2 is the fruits and 1 is the vegetable. So there is no comparison among these 3 actually. We cannot order all these 3, all the 3s. Apple is good or orange is good or tomato is bad or tomato is good. So we cannot order all these 3. Just we have the 3 category for a particular variable. Ordinal, when your data has some ordered. Your data has some ordered, like anxiety level, satisfaction level, Likert scale generally, grade, which one is more satisfying. In generally, when you visit for any food court, they will ask you to fill your satisfactory level, whether you are satisfied with the food quantity as well as the quality or all other things, or taste and so many things. If you are not satisfied, so just click on 1 or 2 number. If you are highly satisfied, click on 5. So there is so many scale level, 5-point scale level, 7-point scale level, 10-point scale level. So these are the different Likert scales. The 1, 5-point, 7-point, and 10-point. So as per the need, you can put the numbers, or as per the satisfactory level, you can give the number. Like agree, disagree, natural, Generally, we have the 5 categories: strongly agree or agree, natural disagree or strongly disagree. But you can give the number also. Maybe the strongly disagree is 1, disagree is 2, natural is 3, neutral is 3, agree is 4, then strongly agree is 5. You can also give the number, or they may be the 7 or 10. Next is the interval. Interval data are with the well-defined interval but has no absolute zero. No absolute zero means suppose in Delhi today's temperature is 10 and in Lucknow the temperature is 15 degrees centigrade. Can I say that the temperature of Delhi, the temperature of Lucknow is higher, is 1.5 times higher than the temperature of Delhi? The Delhi's temperature is 10 degrees centigrade. Lucknow temperature is 15 degrees centigrade. Can I say this? That Lucknow temperature is 1.5 times is greater or higher? No, because we have not the absolute zero. Or in the winter, you have the temperature 10 degrees centigrade, and in summer, you have the 40 degrees centigrade. Can you say that in the summer, the data is 4 times higher? No, because there is no absolute zero. So when we have not the absolute zero, then we cannot directly multiply the things. Because if you have the temperature 1 degree and temperature 2 degree, so we cannot say the temperature is 2 times higher. Because you feel if temperature is 10, you will feel if temperature is 10, there is a little cold. If temperature is 20, if temperature is 20, then it is quite a little bit hot, you can say that. But if temperature is 40, then you will say it is very, very hot actually. But जितना डिफरेंस आपका 10 to 20 में आ रहा है, क्या उतना ही डिफरेंस 20 to 40 आएगा? नो, बिकॉज इन नंबर्स 10 to 20 2 times है और 20 to 40 भी 2 times है. But you will feel the very difference when 10 to 20 temperature is going 10 to 20 and 20 to 40. But number is 2 times. So your number, when you are multiplying the numbers, your things would be in the same manner. But in temperature, your temperature is very, very high when it goes from 20 to 40. Ratio scale have an absolute zero, like weight. In one height, weight, price of anything. If you are saying that the weight of an item is 1.5 kg, after you can say for when your age was 10 years, your weight was 20 kg, and now your age is 20 years and your weight is 60 kg. तो आप इन 10 साल में 3 गुना इंक्रीज कर दो. किसी के भी वेट को आप कंपेयर कर सकते हैं, किसी की हाइट को कंपेयर कर सकते हैं, बट यू कैन नॉट डायरेक्टली कंपेयर द टेम्परेचर ऑफ 2 प्लेसेस. So this is the main difference between the interval and ratio scale. So where you have the absolute zero, then you will measure your measurement will be the ratio scale. And if you don't have the absolute zero, then you will use the interval measurement scale to measure the data. Variables define anything that has a quantity or quality that varies. And for the statistical analysis, we need the variability. If you have not the variability if you have not the variability in the data or variability in your data set, then there is no scope of statistics. Because when the things are fixed, then you can go for the mathematical models or go for the any other model. But you cannot use the statistical models, because statistical models comes into the picture only when there is a variability. You have to measure that variability. So broadly, we classify the variables in 2 types: qualitative and quantitative. So qualitative means when some variables are not capable of being measured in the sense that they can only be categorized. This is categorical or qualitative. Those variables contains value indicating the membership is one of the several position categories. And categorical variables have the values that describe the quality or characteristics of a data unit. Then qualitative, that means you can only measure the quality, like a gender. The gender is the variable. So now you have the quality, whether it may be the male or it may be female. So you cannot compare those two things or two characteristics on the basis of their any number actually. So that means you will say your color is fair, very fair, or color is dark. But there is no number that you can give or you can assign to the fair color. The color is fair, color is not fair, like this. While the quantitative, when you measure the data on some number, height is 5.3 inch, weight is 60 kg, weight is 40 kg. So when you have when you can measure anything on the number, then that comes under the quantitative. And if you are not able to measure the variable on the number, that comes under the qualitative or characteristic. So generally variables is two types: qualitative, quantitative. It is numerical and it is qualitative means categorical and quantitative means numeric. Further, you can classify or you can measure if your variable is qualitative in nature or if we have the categorical variable, then you will use nominal and ordinal scales to measure this thing. And if your data is quantitative, then you can use interval and ratio scale. The first you have to decide a particular variable is either a qualitative in nature or quantitative. कि एक वेरिएबल को हम क्वालिटेटिव में मेजर कर सकते हैं, क्वांटिटेटिव में. Okay, and after that you can measure that variable on the basis of these four measurement scale of data. For summarizing the operation, which operation can be performed for a particular measurement of data? If you have measured the data on the nominal scale. If you have measured the data on nominal scale, then any statistic or the things can be done only the counting. Suppose your variable is gender. So just we can count how many are boys or how many are girls, or how many female or how many males. If data is a caste, then you can count only how many persons or how many students belongs to a particular caste. Nothing, no other things can be done with this data set or with this variable. If data is on ordinal scale, you have measured the data on ordinal, then you can count or you can rank them. Counting can be done along with the ranking. You can say which one is more preferred to the other one. You are satisfied with a particular, you can say the whole, when you are going to take the admission in any college, then you will say which college is good for this particular branch. Or when you go for outing, then you will say which particular restaurant is better than the other restaurant. That means you can count or you can rank them. If data is on interval, then you can count them, you can rank them, or you can apply two mathematical operations only: addition and subtraction. Addition and subtraction. But if data is on ratio scale, then you can apply all the four things: counting, ranking, addition, subtraction, multiple and division. So most of the things, if you are able to, most of the things can be done, statistical analysis can be done mostly if your data is measured on the ratio scale. Basic statistical I am talking about. Otherwise, by this table, you will be able to understand the things what kind of statistics can be done for a particular variable. As I was talking, we are not able to find any person who can analyze that particular data. First, we need to look what is our variable or what are the variables in that data set. Second thing, nature of the variable. That means it is qualitative or quantitative. Then the next is, we will say the data observed, actually data collected, whether it is collected by the data measurement, actually whether it is measured by the nominal scale or ordinal scale or interval scale or ratio scale. If you are able to understand these things, then only you will be able to perform or you will be apply the statistics. Otherwise you will get the worst to worst result. So this is very, very important thing before starting the main portion of the statistics. Generally, we have the two types of statistics. One thing is descriptive statistics. Another one is inferential statistics. In inferential statistics, in descriptive statistics, just we collect the data. That means we want to learn about the data. We want to know about the data. What is data actually? So we collect the data, or you can collect by the survey, or you can obtain it from any other agency organization that already collected the data. Then we will present our data with the help of the tables or the graph, and then we will summarize our data with the help of some statistics. Okay. In inferential statistics, it involves a hypothesis, estimation. So first, if you have these things, the sample mean, the mean of this data set is this, then we will test this data. So the second part comes only after, when we have the idea or good idea of this descriptive statistics. Okay. So today I will cover only the descriptive proportion. For the descriptive statistics, to describe, statistics describes a categorical categorical data by two things. The frequency that we are saying the counting. Counting means of frequency for the particular category, or frequency as well as you can say the percentage or proportion of each category. So two things can be done for the categorical set of data. And if data is quantitative, then you can describe our quantitative data, or you can understand the quantitative data with the help of center, variability, and shape things. So these are the three measures: measures of center, tendency generally we say, measure of variability or measure of dispersion, or measure of shape. So if data is quantitative, then you will try to understand the center of the data. You will try to understand the kind of variability, how much variability in particular data is, and then you will try to look the shape of the data, because on the basis of these things you will be able to apply advanced models of the statistics. On the basis of these characteristics, we will decide which particular statistical tool or statistical formula is applicable for the data. So measures of central tendency. It gives an idea about the mean value of the data. Because generally a data is clustered around to the particular value. And we are not interested in all the observation. Just we are interested in the one value. That value is the center of the data. It is also referred as the average or in general. So these are some following measures of central tendency. All of you know about all these things, but I am again explaining the thing: arithmetic mean, median, mode, geometric mean, harmonic mean. So measure of central tendency. Measure of central tendency. Mathematical average and positional average. So in mathematical average, we have the three averages: arithmetic, geometric, and harmonic. Locational or positional averages, median, where generally the median and mode, or in median you can say the quartile, decile, percentile. All these things can be obtained with the help of graph. So that's why we are saying this is a positional or locational averages. Mathematical, where we can apply on to obtain or to calculate the mathematic, geometric and harmonic mean, we have the formula. With the help of those formula, we can only obtain these things. Okay, arithmetic mean. Arithmetic mean most popular and useful measure of center tendency. And you know that the sum of all the observation divided by the number of observations. And if you have the group data, that means you have the some frequencies, then you can obtain the mean 1 upon n summation fi xi. Okay. What are the advantage and disadvantage of this? To obtain this mean means arithmetic mean only. It is easy to calculate and understand. It is based on all the observations, because if any observation is missing in this data set, x1, x2, xn, then you will not be able to obtain the arithmetic mean. So all observations should be known. Familiar to the common man and rigidly defined. If you talk about, I'm talking about the mean, then every person understands that what is the meaning of mean. He will say it is an average value in the center. It is a center value of the data, or it will be. It can also be used for the further mathematical treatment. That means x bar will be used for another formulas also, on another models also, in calculating the regression or in calculating the further formula, in calculating the variance or correlation or so many other things. This arithmetic mean can be used, and it is also unique. There is only one answer. That means for one data set you will always have a one arithmetic mean. Useful when comparing the data set. You can compare the two data set. Suppose the average of a one group, average height or average weight of a one group is, average weight of a one group is 40 kg and another group is 50 kg, then you will be say the group 2 is highly weighted, or group 2 has the more weight. What are the disadvantages? It is used only for the quantitative data. If you have the data on the qualitative in nature, then like caste, religion, gender, then you will not be able to apply this statistic tool. Affected by the extreme values. Extreme means which are the suppose in your data all the students have all the students have the weight around 50 kg, but in this class, in a particular class, there is a one student whose weight is 100 kg or more than 100 kg. That particular value is known as the extreme or outlier value. So sometimes first we need to study these outliers. Sometimes they can be removed from data, but sometimes we cannot remove these observations. We have to handle, but if some outliers are present in your data, then you have to handle very carefully that data set. Or sometimes we can remove directly, or sometimes we can replace these outliers by the average. So it depends on the situation. What is your objective? What actually are you doing? It depends on that. And it cannot be calculated if the frequency distribution is open-end class. So that means all the observations should be clearly defined. X1, X2, Xn, this is based on all the observations. So your all observations should be clearly defined. Median, it is the middlemost value. If you arrange your data into the ascending or descending order, then the middlemost value is known as the median. Or you can obtain this by the graph also. So median is divide your whole data in two equal parts. 50% observations less than that particular value and 50% observations are greater than that particular value. But ऐसा मीन में नहीं होता है. मीन सेंटर होता है, ये भी मेजर ऑफ सेंटर है, बट मीडियन आपका divides your data to equal parts. One is 50% observations less than this, and 50% observations are greater than this. So to obtain the median, when n is odd, then n plus 1 by 2th observation will be the median. And when n is even, then n by 2th observation plus n by 2 plus 1th observation divided by 2 is the median of the data. And if you have the group, then first you need to calculate the cumulative frequencies, then you need to find the n by 2, total number of observations, total number divided by 2. And if the cumulative frequency, the first value greater than n by 2, then corresponding to the class interval is called the median class. So you will search the first value which is greater than n by 2, which is greater than n by 2. That particular class, in case of in the cumulative frequencies, that particular class is known as the median class. And then you will apply this particular formula. L is the lower limit of the median class, H is the width, class interval क्या है, n by 2 आपका ये सेम हो गया, माइनस cumulative frequency just preceding one की, और ये आपकी exactly उसी क्लास की frequency. What are the advantages? Easy to calculate and understand, can be computed for a distribution with open and end classes, because this is not depends on all the observations. This does not depend on all the observations. So we can obtain or we can calculate the median when you have the open end classes interval, not affected by the extreme values, because if you can see this formula, it does depend on the center values. Or if you arrange the data in ascending or descending order, it depends only on the center 1 or 2 observation, as the case may be. Or in this case also. So median will be useful when you have the open end class, you have the outlier. So if you have the outlier, then you should not use X bar, that is mean, as a measure of central tendency. In those scenarios, you can use the median as a measure of central tendency. Okay. It is also applicable for qualitative as well as quantitative. So for both data types, you can use it. Can be useful to compare the 2 or more than 2 sets. Median is less sensitive to the outliers than the mean. Obviously, it depends. It lie in the middle after arranging the observations, because outliers will always lie either on the left side of the data, on the right side of data, whether it is very, very low value or you have a very, very high value. Disadvantage, not as popular as mean. This is some measure of, it's a problem of popularity. Every value does not contribute to the median, because every value does not, we are not using all the observations in calculating the median. So this is the main disadvantage of this one. And it cannot be used for the further mathematical treatment. It is rarely useful for the further models. Mode, the value that is observed most frequently in the data. A value that mostly occurred in your data set is known as the model of the mode of the data set. Suppose you have an example of the diastolic blood pressure on the 9 individuals, which is this one. So you can see that 86 is occurring 4 times. 86 is occurring 4 times. So the mode value is 86. As you know, now that you have arithmetic mean was unique. Arithmetic mean was unique. That means for one data set, you have only one arithmetic mean. But mode can have more than one mode for a particular data set. You have 2 modes for this data set. That means your data may be bimodal, trimodal, or multimodal. or there are some situations where mode does not exist. In this scenario, mode does not exist because all the observations are coming exactly one time. So this is the formula to calculate the mode for the grouped data set. This is an example where you have only the unimodal distribution, or this is bimodal. So we are this number 5 or this number 9 is occurring 3 times. 3 times 5, 3 times 9. So you have the bimodal distribution. When distribution has the 2 scores that are most frequently occurring, it's called the bimodal. If you have the 3, then it is trimodal, and more than 3, multimodal. Advantages and disadvantages applicable for qualitative as well quantitative. Not affected by the extreme. Same thing as with the median. Can be computed for distribution with open end. Again, same things. Can obtain be graphically. And the disadvantage and advantage of the mode are more or less similar to the median. Not based on all the observations, cannot be useful for the further mathematical treatment. Not necessarily unique. It is a one disadvantage. At times, indeterminate means there are so many situations where we cannot calculate the mode. These are the measure of partitions. Measure of partitions means as median divides the data in 2 equal parts, we may have these 3 popular measures of the partition, which divides where quartiles divides your data in 4 equal parts, decile in 10 equal parts, and percentile in 100 equal parts. Median divides your data in 2 equal parts. Quartiles divide your data in 4 equal parts. Deciles divides your data in 10, and percentiles divides your data in 100 parts. So all the characteristics are same for all the 3 measures of partition, but it divides in 4 parts, 10 parts, and 100 parts. Similar to the median, as it divided your data in 2 equal parts. So I am skipping this thing. Now comes to the next, measure of dispersion. Measure of dispersion, the second important characteristics of a distribution or of a data is the dispersion. 2 distribution may be identical in respect of the first important characteristic, that is center tendency. Suppose there is a situation when two groups have the same mean. So then which group will you prefer? So you have no idea about the variability. So in the case of this tie, if you have the equal average or equal mean of the 2 groups, to sort out the problem or to overcome this problem, we will look the variability of the data, or we will choose that particular data which has the less variability. Okay, so for that we need to study the measure of dispersion. So in this data set, in this graph, you can see that we have the 3 data sets that you have plotted on the real line. So in this, the mean are same. The means of all the groups are same. This is the center. Where is my cursor? This is the mean of this A group or A data set. This is the mean of B data set. This is the mean of the C data set. Which group will you prefer? If you have the 3 groups and the mean of all the 3 groups are same, which group will you prefer? You have to look into the another characteristic. So another characteristics, measure of dispersion. So from the figure, you can see that the A group has the less variability. So dispersion broadly classified into 2 parts, absolute measures of dispersion and relative measures of dispersion. Absolute measure of dispersion means range, mean deviation, quartile deviation, and standard deviation. Similarly, the relative measure is coefficient of range, coefficient of mean deviation, coefficient of quartile deviation, and coefficient of variation. Because on the basis of only this absolute measure of dispersion, we will not be able to compare the so many things. On the basis of these relative measures, we can compare things easily. So to compare the things, we should use relative measures of dispersion rather than absolute measure of dispersion. So that's why we need to study the relative measures of dispersion. So first is the range. Range means largest value of the data set minus smallest value of the data set. This is the range. And the coefficient, you can obtain the coefficient by L minus S upon L plus S into 100. This is the coefficient. If you want to compare the two groups whose means are same, then you can use this coefficient of range. Whose range is minimum, whose coefficient of range is minimum, you can use, you can prefer that particular group. There is a one thing is interquartile range. Interquartile range is as your quartile divides your data in 4 equal parts. 4 equal parts. So one is Q1, first quartile. Second quartile will be the median. It will be somewhere here. Second quartile, median. And third quartile is Q3. So Q1, this is one part. This is second part. So you have the 3 quartiles. This is first part, this is second, this will be third, and this is fourth. So your quartiles divides your data in 4 equal parts. And each, that means you have the 4 portions of 20, 25, 25%. 25% this one, 25% till here, where is the Q2, and Q2 to Q3 25%, and Q3 up to 25% data. And the Q3 minus Q1, Q3 minus Q1 is known as the interquartile range. It will be useful when you go for the box plot or so many other things. So interquartile deviation is Q3 minus Q1. The third quartile minus first quartile divided by 2. This is the quartile deviation. And this is the coefficient of quartile deviation. Q3 minus Q1 upon Q3 plus Q1. This will be always less than 1 and will be positive because you always know that you will always get Q3 is greater than Q1. And the smaller value of the coefficient of QB indicates the lesser variability. As the value of this coefficient of quartile deviation is less, you will say it has the minimum or less variability. Similarly, the mean deviation can be obtained 1 upon n summation fi if it is a frequency. If it is no frequency there, then you can remove this fi. Absolute value of xi minus a, where a is any average. It may be the mean, it may be the median, or it may be the mode. It may be any value. This absolute means you will get the positive value after. Suppose your x is 10, a is 20. So you will get 10 minus 20, that is minus. But this absolute will convert your minus 10 value into the plus 10. And this mean deviation is minimum when you have taken a as the median. And this is the coefficient of median about mean. About mean regarding only. If you want to obtain the coefficient of median about median, coefficient of mean deviation about median, then you will obtain the mean deviation about median divided by median. Standard deviation is defined as the positive square root of the arithmetic mean of the squares of the deviation taken from the arithmetic mean, and it is given by square root of summation xi minus x bar square upon n. It shows how far an average each value is from the median, from the mean. In the standard deviation, we only use the arithmetic mean. Or it can be used to compare the variables with different unit measures because sigma is unitless. Generally, you have seen mu plus minus sigma or mu plus 3 sigma limits in here you can see in the 3 sigma limits, you can see that mu plus minus 3 sigma, because the mean, the unit of the mean and the standard deviation are same, because we are squaring the observations, so the unit will be square. But when you are taking the square root, so the unit will again the same as the unit will be same as the unit of original xi. So that means we can add or we can subtract it from the mean. Similarly, you have the variance. The variance is nothing but it is the square of the standard deviation. Okay. Merit index, it is rigidly defined. Again, it is based on all the observation. It does not ignore the algebraic sign of the deviation, because we are getting the xi minus x bar. It is capable for the further mathematical treatment. It is not much affected by the sampling fluctuations. Sampling fluctuation means again by the outlier. It is difficult to understand, cannot be calculated for qualitative data, because you can, if you have not the x bar, then you cannot calculate the standard deviation or variance, or standard mean can be calculated only for the close and intervals data set or quantitative. Coefficient of variation sigma upon x bar into 100. So whose coefficient variation is low, you will prefer that particular group or particular data set. Regarding the shape of the data, it is measured by the two things, skewness and kurtosis. Whether your data is skewed or not skewed. Your data is kurtosis, that means peakness and other things. If data is, first thing is skewness. So what is skewness? Skewness is the measure of asymmetry in the data. How much symmetry in your data or how much asymmetry in your data. It measures the asymmetry only, whether your data is symmetry or not. A distribution in which the values are equidistant from the center and have the equal frequencies is defined as the symmetrical, and the departure from the symmetry is known as the skewness. In this data, in this graph, you can see that you have the same frequency from the center. On the left hand side, you have the almost well-shaped curve, graph, this one. So you will say this is not symmetric. This is symmetric. There is no asymmetry. This data is symmetric. But the value of the coefficient of skewness can be both positive and negative. You can see that. This is the for symmetrical distribution. You can see that mean, median, and mode both are all are same. Mean, median, and mode are same if data is symmetric. So you can measure the symmetry of a particular data set or particular distribution by measuring the mean, median, and mode. If all three are same, then data is symmetric. If it is not, then you will say data is asymmetric. These are the formulas to calculate directly the mean and directly the skewness, mu3 square upon mu2 cube. If it is not symmetric, then it will be definitely skewed. If data is not symmetric, then definitely it will be skewed. Now it's whether it is positively skewed or negatively skewed. Skewed can be two types, either positive or negative. For the positive skewed, your mean is greater than median is greater than mode, or the length of the right tail is greater than the length of left tail. This is your length of left tail. This is the length of right tail. So if your curve or if your data has the length on the greater length or large length in the right hand side, then your data is positively skewed. Otherwise, it is negatively skewed. Similarly, like this, it is negatively skewed. In negatively skewed, mean is less than median is less than mode. On the basis of these three measure of central tendency, you can assess the symmetry of your data. If all the three are coinciding, then data is symmetric. If mean is greater than median is greater than mode, positively skewed. If mean is less than median, less than mode, negatively skewed. Because if you have the such idea, if you have this idea about your data, then any statistic you can apply on the basis of the characteristics of the particular formula or particular model. Because for the different things, you have the different formula. Kurtosis talks about the peakness of or flatness of the data. In this, you can say that all the three have the same variance, same mean. All the three has the same mean, but you have the different variability. For the larger, for the this high-tailed data, high-tailed graph, it is leptokurtic. Center is mesocurtic, and lower one is platokurtic. So you can see here that this high-tailed is leptokurtic data. High frequency data is leptokurtic because it has the minimum variability. The variability starting from here. That means variability means the lower limit of this data set is kind like this, almost this one, and upper limit is this one. So it will have all the observations. If your data is leptokurtic, so all the observations are very close to the center point. That is good for us. It has the minimum variability. Or if it is mesocurtic, it has the some larger, or it is the plateau, it has the more larger variability. So we always prefer to have the data should have the minimum variability. Although the mean, median, mode are coinciding. Okay. So on the basis of these characteristics, on the basis of the symmetry of the data, on the basis of the shape of the data, you will be able to understand the basic character, basic behavior of the data. And if you are able to understand the behavior, then only you will be able to perform any statistic. So these are some coefficient. On the basis of coefficient, if it is greater than 3, it is lepto. If it is equal to 3, it is mesocurtic. And if it is less than 3, it is platokurtic. So this is very, very important slide for you. Appropriate measure used for. So if your data is on nominal scale, then you can use frequency table or count or percentage or proportion. So the measure of central tendency is mode and measure of dispersion is no measure. If data is nominal, then you can calculate the mode और the measure of dispersion में डेटा आपका नॉमिनल स्केल पर है तो उसका कोई मेजर ऑफ डिस्पर्सन एग्जिस्ट ही नहीं करता. My point. Ordinal है, then you can compute, you can obtain the frequency table or you can count. In measure of central tendency, you can obtain the mode or you can obtain the median. Again, if data is on ordinal scale, then you have not any measure of dispersion. Interval ratio, measure of dispersion, measure of central tendency, frequency, all these things can be applied. You can obtain the mean, median, mode, arithmetic mean, harmonic mean, or range, standard deviation, variance, or other measure of dispersion. All the measure of dispersion can be obtained if your data is on ratio and interval. So first, you should try to understand the data characteristic, whether it is qualitative or quantitative. First thing. Second thing, on which level of measurement you have measured this particular data set. If you are able to understand this thing, then you can apply any statistics or you can use any model. So this is all for the theoretical part. Now I would like to explain things with the Excel in a very short time. Suppose this is our data set. No? This is the data in which I give this is generated data. That means actually this is hypothetical data. You can say that. Hypothetical data of students. Okay. In this data set, first one is the ID. This ID may be your name, maybe your roll number, maybe your column, maybe your roll number, maybe your class roll number or enrollment number, whatever this ID, this is your unique ID. This is the gender. My screen is visible to all of you? Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
This is a small data set that I prepared only for the demonstration purpose. In this, you can see that the first column is for ID. So if you have any data, then just write the name in the columns. When you are going to enter your data, put the names, put the variable name in the columns. And in the rows, we add the individual's entry. So these are the some variables. So this is known as the variables. So ID is a one variable, gender is one variable, age is one variable, depression, marks, FMI, family monthly income is, and BP, blood pressure. So I divided the family monthly income in three categories: lower, middle, and higher. So we are getting three numbers here. Gender female, female, male. So just we are getting, this is a data of 30 students. Suppose you have the 50, then you can add up your data. But all the rest 20 students also have the data on similar variables. If you have the data on similar variables, then you can add that data. So if you are enter your data in columns, you should have the variable names, and you will add the individual entry into the by row wise. The first thing is this one. Try to enter your data in the numeric format, because most of the softwares prefer the numeric data. It does not mean that this is gender. So you know that gender is a qualitative variable. Okay. In this, you have the two categories, male and female. So just you can write male or complete MALE or capital letter or small letter or FM. But all the entries should be in the identical way. ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए एक में आपने FE स्मॉल में F कर दिया, कहीं कैपिटल फीमेल कर दिया, कहीं स्मॉल है. All entries should be in a similar format. First thing that you have to take care. Second thing, don't write to the male or female things. Just write one or two like this. Gender. Suppose I want to enter this variable. Just write 1. But on the other sheet, write what is 1. In another sheet, you can write in gender variable. Is your gender variable. For gender variable, 1 is representing your female, and 2 is representing your male. Similarly, the variable name is FMI, family monthly income, this one, and just put 1, 2, 3, like it is low family income, so low, medium, या medium, या high. ठीक है, low, medium, high. FMI को भी आप चेंज कर सकते हैं. FI मीन्स फैमिली इनकम. बेसिकली इसको हम कहते हैं डेटा डिक्शनरी. तो जब भी आप कोई भी डेटा सेट एंटर कर रहे हो, कोई भी डेटा बना रहे हो, तो यू शुड ऑलवेज हैव दिस काइंड ऑफ डेटा डिक्शनरी. अब इसको समझने के लिए हमें यहाँ पर 1 कर दिया हमने, तो सारे के सारे को आप चेंज कर दीजिए 1 को. एफ और एम कोई करेक्टर में होना ही नहीं चाहिए. बट इट डज नॉट मीन दैट इट इज योर न्यूमेरिक डेटा, it is your quantitative data. It does not mean this, because you have just replacing the code or just giving the code to the characteristics data. It is character. So just you are when one means low. You have to write here 1 only. Don't write low. But it does not mean that this data is numeric data or this data is qualitative data. The data is measured on the Likert and measured on the ordinal scale. If you want to classify the families on the basis of their income, low income group, middle income group, and higher income group. So you should enter your data in this way. Okay. Suppose you want to replace all these F by 1. All these F by 1. So just click on, suppose in F, in this one, I want to replace all 1 by F. All 1 by F या L, low income के लिए. So just I can click here, go to this, and on the home, go to filter. Just click on filter. Suppose you want to see only the data of male or female, yeah, only the data for one category, one group of FMI. So go to, just click on here, go to filter. On this filter, you can click here, and in this one, you can click now. Suppose you want the data only for one category, then click on 1. So you will have the category 1 data set. If you click on 2, then you will have the 2 category. If you have the 3, then you will get the 3. Or suppose you want to change the data, replace F by 1. Just click on 1. Click on F, and now you can replace F by 1. तो say it is 1, enter. इस 1 को ड्रैग कर दीजिए यहां से क्लिक करके. You have changed this data. Now same things can be do for M. M is say 2. Are you getting my point or not? So you can change your data from character to numeric. But in this second sheet, you have to write these things. 1 means female, 1 means female, 2 means male. For this, you can increase this one. So your data should have on the numeric data set actually, numeric values. अभी हम इसको as it is रहने देते हैं, अभी कुछ चेंज नहीं कर रहे. ठीक है. नाउ सपोज, तो अब इसका आपको क्या है, ये ग्रुप, ये डेटा है आपके पास FMI. कैन वी ऑब्टेन द मीन ऑफ दिस डेटा सेट? टेल मी, कैन वी ऑब्टेन द मीन ऑफ दिस डेटा सेट? हेलो, हु विल आंसर इट? Should we obtain the mean of this FMI variable or not? बताइए, क्या हमें इस एफएमआई का मीन निकालना चाहिए या नहीं निकालना चाहिए, या निकाल सकते हैं कि नहीं निकाल सकते हैं? कैन एनिमल टेल? अरे बच्चों कोई तो बोलो, आर यू गेटिंग माई पॉइंट और नोट? हेलो, तो बताइए आपको कि इसका मीन कैसे निकलेगा, निकाल सकते हैं कि नहीं? इसका मीन नहीं निकालना चाहिए बिकॉज इट इज अ कैटेगोरिकल वेरिएबल. So mean can be calculated when your data is on ratio scale. कि एज किसकी ज्यादा है, एज का निकाल सकते हैं, डिप्रेशन का निकाल सकते हैं, मार्क्स का निकाल सकते हैं, और ब्लड प्रेशर का निकाल सकते हैं. सो वी कैन ऑब्टेन द मीन ओनली the variables which are measured on the ratio or interval scale, on the ratio scale only. For this, your data, this variable is measured on the ratio scale. कैसे पता चल रहा है कि ये वेरिएबल आपका रेशो स्केल पर है? आप लोग बोल नहीं रहा है कुछ भी, इसका मतलब आपने लेक्चर सुना नहीं है सही से.
What happened, students? Sir is
कोई रेस्पॉन्स नहीं कर
asking
रहा
for
है.
you.
Would be a good thing. अच्छा ये बताइए कि फर्स्ट जो वेरिएबल है आपका आईडी वो किस मेजरमेंट पे लिया गया, और सेकंड दोनों? चलिए फर्स्ट को छोड़ दिए, सेकंड से बात करते हैं. सेकंड किस वेरिएबल पर लिया गया है, किस मेजरमेंट पर मेजर किया गया है, किस स्केल से मेजर किया गया है?
जेंडर.
जेंडर, यस. मेजरमेंट क्या है इसका, स्केल का? इसके लिए
Age.
कौन सा स्केल यूज किया हुआ है? बताओ. सब शांत है, इतनी देर से मैं पढ़ा रहा था, किसी ने पूछा क्यों नहीं?
Sir, nominal.
Nominal, because we are not preferring one on the another one. The data is on nominal scale. Age, एज का स्केल क्या है? एज का स्केल बताओ जल्दी.
Dr. Ashok, ratio.
यस.
Ratio.
यस, रेशो पर है. क्यों? क्योंकि वी कैन डायरेक्टली कंपेयर द एज. उसकी एज 10 साल है, मेरी 20 साल है, आई विल बी 10 टाइम्स, मेरी एज से दुगनी है. मतलब कि तो जहां पर सीधा सीधा मल्टीप्लाई करके मैं पता कर सकूं, उस वेरिएबल को हमारा ये पता चल जाएगा कि जिस वेरिएबल सीधा सीधा मल्टीप्लाई करके उससे हम कह सके कि उससे दुगना है, 4 गुना है, वो सीधा सीधा हम कह सकते हो. वेयर द डेटा इज मेजर्ड ऑन द रेशो स्केल. मार्क्स, मार्क्स का भी सेम में रेशो है. एफएमआई किस पे है? एफएमआई किस पर है?
Ordinal.
बताओ.
Ordinal, Dr. Ashok. Ordinal.
Ordinal, yes, because one is defining the another one category whose income is low. 2 is defining the whose income is little bit high than the lower income group, and 3 is denoting the higher income group. That is ordinal. BP, again it is a
Ratio.
scale. So if you are able to understand these things, then only you will be able to apply the statistics in general way. जो सर की प्रॉब्लम है, संजय सर की, संजीव सर की, उसे आप लोग ही सोल्व कर देंगे, किसी की जरूरत नहीं पड़ेगी यदि आपने सिर्फ इतना डेटा अंडरस्टैंड कर लिया। तो उनसे पूछ लेना कि उनका डेटा कौन कौन से वेरिएबल है, आप उनको उतना ही बता देंगे तो भी उनका काम हो जाएगा शायद। ठीक है, अब आपको ये पता चल गया कि डेटा नॉमिनल है, ऑर्डिनल है, तो उसके लिए हम क्या क्या कर सकते हैं, वो मैंने आपको सबसे लास्ट स्लाइड में आपको बता दिया कि ये डेटा आपका नॉमिनल है तो क्या किया जा सकता है, ऑर्डिनल है तो क्या किया जा सकता है, और इंटरवल या रेशो स्केल पर है तो क्या किया जा सकता है। एटलीस्ट इतना काम तो आप उनको करके दे सकते हैं। ठीक है, to apply this to obtain all the major descriptive statistics things, I am using the data analysis package in this. So for this, if you have the data analysis tool in your Excel, then you can directly use it. Otherwise, in the data tab, you will have this data analysis tab. In the data tab, you have this data analysis tab. If you don't have this data analysis tab in your this data, then just you can write down the path. Click on files. In files, click on more. Click on more. In more, click on options. File, more, options. In options, you will get the different, and you will get this pop-up window. On this pop-up window, just click on this add-ins. Add-ins. In this, you can see here that some active application add-ins. So if your data analysis tool pack is here, that is, it is active, then there is no need to add it. It will be in your data analysis, in your data tab. If it is not, then definitely you will see that data analysis tool pack in this inactive applications add-ins. To how to add it? To add it, just click on here, manage. In manage Excel add-ins. You can write down the things. Just file, more, options. In the option, add-ins. On add-ins, click on manage. In manage Excel add-ins. Click on go. Click on go. You will get these 4 things here. To add only the one thing, analysis tool pack, just click on this one. If you want to add this analysis tool pack VBA, Visual Basic, then you Visual Basic Analysis, then you can also add this. If you want to add the solver, then you can also use it. Just click on OK. So after that, if you go here, you will have the 2 different tabs, data analysis and solver. In the analyze tab, just click on data analysis. So you have so many things in this, ANOVA, correlation, covariance. But one thing that I want to discuss is descriptive statistics. Descriptive statistics. Just click on OK. On this, he is asking you input range. So suppose I want to know the descriptive statistics of the variable BP. Labels in the first row. Labels in the first row. If the first row contains the variable name, just click on it. Otherwise, you can skip it. And then click the summary statistic. Summary statistics and click on OK. So with this, you will be able to obtain all the descriptive statistics by one click. So this is the mean of the BP. So 99 BP is the average. This is the standard error. This is the median value, this is the mode value, this is the standard deviation, this is the sample variance, this is kurtosis, this is skewness, this is the range, maximum, minimum, sum, and count. So all the things you can get by one peak, all the descriptive statistics things. More things is also available in this descriptive statistics. Suppose you want to put the different another variable, then you can click on for depression, you can click on this one. Confidence interval if you want to calculate. Depression select किया, देन ओके, और सारी चीजें आपके ऐड हो जाएंगी इसमें। एक सेकेंड, ऐड नहीं कर पाए। एनालिसिस, descriptive statistics, ओके, एंड कॉन्फिडेंस इंटरवल पे भी क्लिक कर दिया तो ये आपके कॉन्फिडेंस इंटरवल भी दे देगा इसी डेटा में। 95 को चेंज करना तो वो 90 कर सकते थे। अब इसको देख करके बताइए कर्टोसिस कितना है आपका? कर्टोसिस कितना है? -0.56। इट इज पॉजिटिवली स्क्यूड और नेगेटिवली स्क्यूड? पीक कैसी होगी इसकी? मेसोकर्टिक है, कर्टोसिस क्या बताता है? पीकनेस को बताता है ना, वेदर इट इज लेप्टोकर्टिक, प्लेटोकर्टिक और मेसोकर्टिक। आप लोग कुछ बोलेंगे? हेलो,
नेगेटिविटी,
It is platocortic.
कर्टोसिस about the tells about the peakness. It is whether it is leptokurtic, mesokurtic or platokurtic. It is negative actually, so that's why it is platokurtic. जो सबसे लास्ट वाला, सबसे नीचे वाला जो कर्व था हम लोगों का, ये दिस वन प्लेटोकर्टिक, सबसे ज्यादा वेरिएबिलिटी इसमें होगी। ये एक्चुअली 3 के रेस्पेक्ट में है, जो ये फॉर्मूला था, ये ग्रेटर देन 3 है, तो ग्रेटर देन 3 को उसने क्या किया कि -3 कर दिया है। मतलब जो फॉर्मूले से जो वैल्यू कैलकुलेट हो रही है एक्सेल से, वो बाय डिफॉल्ट -3 कर दिया है। तो -3 मींस ग्रेटर देन 0 हो गया तो इट इज लेप्टोकर्टिक। 0 मींस ग्रेटर देन 0 है, इक्वल टू 0 है तो मेसोकर्टिक, और लेस देन 0 हो गया तो प्लेटोकर्टिक। तो योर कर्टोसिस वैल्यू इज लेस देन 0, you can see that -0.56. So your data is platokurtic. Skewness, same thing is with the skewness. Less, that means negatively skewed. That means negatively skewed. Or you can compare these 3 things: mean, median, mode. Mean, median or mode. On the basis of that, you can also decide whether this data is positively skewed or negatively skewed. Because if you are going to apply the testing, whether you are going to apply the analysis of variance or some regression models, then these things will comes into the picture actually. Without doing these things, you will not be able to perform any testing, or you will not be able to perform any advanced model. If you have idea about these things, then only you will be able to perform. Because जब अनोवा की आप बात करते हैं तो आप कहते हैं कि डेटा शुड बी नॉर्मली डिस्ट्रीब्यूटेड। दैट मींस डेटा आपका मेसोकर्टिक होना चाहिए, नॉन स्क्यूड होना चाहिए। इफ डेटा इज स्क्यूड, देन यू कैन नॉट अप्लाई द अनोवा, और देन यू कैन नॉट अप्लाई द रिग्रेशन मॉडल। तो तब तक ये चीजें आपकी क्लियर नहीं होंगी, यू विल नॉट बी एबल टू अप्लाई द हायर लेवल, यू विल नॉट बी एबल टू यूज द एडवांस लेवल स्टैटिस्टिक्स। ये नहीं होगा, नॉट नॉर्मल है, नॉट स्क्यूनेस है, इन दैट केस क्या होगा? तो यू विल स्टडी, वी हैव द सम अनदर स्टैटिस्टिकल मॉडल्स और स्टैटिस्टिकल फॉर्मूला फॉर दैट प्रॉब्लम, यू कैन यूज दोस थिंग्स। अनोवा है, वन वे अनोवा आप कर रहे हैं, ये नहीं लग रहा है तो क्रुस्कुल वॉलिस पर जाए कि आपका वो नॉर्मली डिस्ट्रीब्यूट नहीं है, तो वी विल गो फॉर द क्रुस्कुल वॉलिस. तो these things will be able to understand about the characteristic or behavior or nature of the data, whether data is normally distributed or not normally distributed, or it is skewed or positively skewed, or it is plutocratic, leptocratic. तो इन सब चीजों से हम डेटा के नेचर को स्टडी करना चाह रहे हैं. क्यों करना चाह रहे हैं? जब ये स्टडी हमारे पास होगी डेटा की, then only we will be able to perform the advanced level, or we will be able to draw the appropriate conclusion from the data. Okay. Any question that you want to ask me?
सर ये क्वेरी सेशन लास्ट में है.
हाँ, बस मेरे तरफ से हो गया है. If you want to ask, then you can ask.
Thank you, sir, for acquainting us on this topic. Now, anybody who has queries related to this topic, please write it down in the chat below.
If you have any question, then you may ask. One question from.
Sir, our first question is, as we know, softwares like RStudio, Octave can perform basic plus advanced programs. So why to use Excel if we can get a whole package in other softwares?
It's up to you whether you want to use these advanced level of softwares, or you want to use these basic software. Excel, generally we know all the persons cannot use these advanced level or these specific softwares as like R, like Octave, or some other advanced software like SPSS. But most of the persons are basically capable, or most of the persons are capable to are used to. They are very handy. The Excel is very handy, and most of the persons can easily use it. So these are SPSS and Octave are the advanced and very specific software to analyze the data. But if we talk about the basic analysis, then I think so, and I feel also that this Excel is more appropriate. If you don't have the large data set, or if you don't want to apply the advanced level of statistical models. If you are going to just calculate the mean, just one click you can get all the descriptive statistics. In one click you can get the some other things also. So if the things can be done with the help of this basic software, which is freely available also, because some softwares like Octave is freely available also, R is freely available. So some other software like SPSS and some MATLAB, these softwares are costly software, so all the people cannot use it, or you have to take some trainings to handle the data in these softwares. But Excel is very easy, and it is publicly acceptable, and anyone can use it. So if you want to apply, if you want to do the simple analysis, then Excel is good. I also do the analysis graph. If I want to create the graph, then I will always prefer to create the graph or make the graph with the help of Excel rather than the software. So it's up to you whether if you want to use the Octave or R or any other software, then you can use. There is no issue with that. But the Excel is generally preferable by the all, generally acceptable by the all the people. That's why this is good.
Sir, our another query is that apart from basic calculations, graphs, figures, etc., how Excel is useful in solving statistical problems?
Basic calculation, that means ANOVA is a good ANOVA testing, all these things you can do with the Excel also. There is no software or in the data handling in the software is very easy because Excel is compatible to Excel. If your data is on Excel sheet, then you can use that sheet in SPSS, in Stata, in R, in Octave, or in MATLAB. But if your data is on R file or is on or SPSS file, that you cannot use that data in the in other software. So that's, if you want to sort, the sorting is very easy. If you enter the data, because you can give the all the questionnaires to any person because he knows the something about the Excel. But if you want to enter the data in R or in other software, then it is very tedious. So it is preferable to enter your data in this Excel, in the Excel software only. But statistical problems की बात करें तो that means it depends कि what type of problems you want to deal. If it is a very advanced level, that means like a multivariate test for the factor analysis and some advanced level you want to use, so it cannot be, it is very difficult to handle these things with the Excel. Then you have to go for the special software for the statistical analysis that we have.
So our next question is, what courses should we study or pursue to become an analyst?
Data analysis, we have the so many programs, so many courses, data science, data analyst. You can go, it's up to you whether you want to go for the business analyst or whether you go for the general analyst program you want to attend. So there are so many courses that one list I can also send to the Dr. Vedpalji, who will share with you all along with some specific points which course you should go, because it is depends on your interest whether you go for the business analyst or some other things. It's up to that things actually.
Sir, the next query is that why specific programming languages are required to get job as data analyst in tech giants?
Why specific programming languages are required? Because in the software, all the things are fixed. As I know, the formula is fixed to calculate the mean, to calculate the variance. All these things are fixed. Anyone can do. But there is suppose there is a new problem is occurs. So how to handle that particular problem? That problem can be handled if you know the programming. If you know the programming, if you know any programming language, or if you are able to do the program with any particular language, then you can easily convert the code into the another language. Or suppose you have a simple multiple linear regression model. Okay? In the Excel, in SPSS, in all the softwares, you have a multiple linear regression model, but you don't have the non-linear regression model. So how to handle that data that is not following the multiple, that is not following the linearity conditions actually. The data that is not suitable to apply the multiple linear regression. So how to handle that data? You have to develop some model. And for developing a model, you can develop the model if you know the language. Because ये सारी चीजें जितनी भी आप लोग देख रहे हैं ना, ये सब भी कहीं ना कहीं लैंग्वेज की हेल्प से कन्वर्ट की गई है. अब आपको इजी लग रही है, आर हो, मैटलैब हो, जितना भी क्या सब पैकेज बनना भी तो क्या है, वो पैकेज जो बने हैं आपके, वो सिर्फ लैंग्वेज की हेल्प से तो बने हैं. कुछ नया डेवलपमेंट आपका होता है तो हाउ टू हैंडल दैट पर्टिकुलर प्रॉब्लम, तो वो तो नहीं कर पाएगा ना. एसपीएसएस से बहुत सारी चीजें हैं जो एसपीएसएस से नहीं कर पाते. आर क्यों प्रीफर हो गया एसपीएसएस से, क्यों ओवरकम कर गया? बिकॉज ऑफ यू हैव द लिबर्टी टू हैंडल एनी प्रॉब्लम. बट एसपीएसएस हैज अ लिमिटेड ऑप्शंस. कुछ नया डेवलपमेंट रिसर्च अभी आपकी हुई, कुछ दिमाग में आया कि आपने एक नया मॉडल हम बना दे, लेकिन नया मॉडल को अप्लाई कैसे करोगे जब आपको प्रोग्रामिंग नहीं आती होगी? तो प्रोग्रामिंग इज मस्ट टू गेट एनी डेटा एनालिस्ट जॉब, क्योंकि वहां पे तो डेली के डेली नई नई सिचुएशन, नई नई प्रॉब्लम आएंगी और उनके लिए आपको अलग से ही डील करना पड़ेगा।
Thank you, sir, for answering our queries. Now, I request everybody to fill the feedback form provided in the chat box to get their e-certificates.
हेलो हेलो
Yes, sir.
हाँ,
Sir,
तो उन प्रॉब्लम्स को, आपको जो लेटेस्ट प्रॉब्लम्स आ रही हैं उनको डील करने के लिए तो आपको प्रोग्रामिंग के बिना तो नहीं डील हो पाएंगी वो। एनी अदर क्वेश्चन?
no, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you for clearing our queries.
थैंक यू।
Now, I would like to invite Ujjwal Raghuvanshi, the Vice President of the Ramanujan Committee, to kindly deliver the vote of thanks.
Thank you, Jala. It gives me the immense pleasure to deliver the vote of thanks for this event to all the dignitaries assembled here. I would like to thank our guest, Dr. Ashok Kumar, for taking out time from his busy schedule and enlightening us. And further, I extend my heartfelt gratitude towards respected principal, teachers, and our beloved audience for making this webinar a grand success. Thank you, sir. And thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you everyone for listening me and giving me this opportunity to the organizers to interact with all the students at this platform. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ashok. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
For an informative session. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you very much.
Tech team, please. Okay, sir. Thank you.